Hi everybody, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and I have another fun St. Patrick's Day card to share with you today. Hey, so I'm using Jaded Blossom's Gnome dies. They're Stitched Oval dies, they're Mini Tag Dies 3, they're Lucky Charm stamp set, the Lucky Charm outline dies, Gnome dies St. Patrick's Day add-ons, along with their Clover Stencil. And I did put this guy together on the release, or on the assembly video. I'm also using Doodlebug's, what's it called? Lots of Luck 6-inch pad. So this paper is cut from the Lots of Luck 6-inch pad. I'm using a Paper Tray Ink A2 size card base, 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5 inches, with my Martha Stewart scoreboard on my Teflon bone folder. And I cut this paper from that pad from Doodlebug 1/8 of an inch smaller. So just an all over green pattern. There we go. Now that I'm using my oval dies and the scalloped oval dies, and I cut the that scalloped oval out of Concord and 9th Clover cardstock. So that ink blending that I did there, that is Distress Oxide Ink Lucky Clover onto Nina Desert Storm 80-pound cardstock. And I did that when I ink blended on the release and review for the original release of that stencil. I ink blended that, and then I actually used the outside of that cut on a card base, like on another card. So I always keep these leftover pieces, so I'm using it on this card. I'm also using Doodlebug's green cardstock. That's what his little hat was cut out of. Paper Tray Ink black cardstock as well. P13 stamping pad skin tones for the skin. Rust cardstock for his little beard again. Okay, so I have a piece on Nina Desert Storm, 80-pound cardstock, and I'm going to stamp some sentiments from that sentiment set that I mentioned. There we go. And I'm going to be stamping with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And I'm just using my Misty. I'm going to stamp those two sentiments, one for the inside, one for the outside of my card. There we go. And you'll see that I got a waffle flower grip mat on the inside of that just to keep things in place, which I'm liking. So I'm going to use some see-through tape just to tape my little word outline dies to my piece of paper so I don't mess that up when I run it through my die cutting machine, using my Anna Griffin Mini Empress machine as per usual. So I'm just adding those to the little pieces of cardstock there with some tape. There we go. Okay, so I've just got some things laid out here. Now this little mini tag dies 3 was cut out of that same Concord and 9th Clover cardstock, and I'm going to add that down, and that's where my sentiment's going to end up. I use Recollections gold mirror cardstock for the little coins, Paper Tray Ink black cardstock for the little cauldron, or I guess it's not a cauldron. You know, it's this little pot of gold. Yeah, it's a little pot. So I'm just going to glue my little gnome to the front of my card base with some Barely Art glue. You'll see that I'd have his, hands and everything were popped up with Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. I have a lot of these little gnomes that I have left over from the assembly videos that I haven't used yet, so I try to use them up on cards. But you can watch me put them together on the assembly videos. Okay, so I did go ahead and I cut out the base layer or the shadow layer of this sentiment Good Luck a few more times, and I'm going to use that for dimension on my card. That's the nice thing about the outline dies for the sentiments. You can cut out, use scrap cardstock, cut it a few times and pop it up that way instead of using Stampin' Up! Dimensionals or dimensionals, foam dimension. Okay, so I'm just going to line that up and stick that down. There we go. And I think I cut it 4 times, so I gave it quite a bit of dimension. So I'm just sort of gluing that all together here, quickly stacking it up. And then I will add it to my card front. So when it came to ink blending, that Distress Oxide ink, I literally just smacked it on there, with a blending brush. So nothing crazy. And when I ink blend a stencil, I usually keep the leftover if I've got enough. you know, to use on another card. There's no point in wasting that. So I kind of have a background little container that I hold a bunch of, you know, ink blended things that I've blended in the past. I hold on to them and eventually I'll use them on a card, just like all these gnomes. Okay, so there's my little sentiment. So it says good luck. And now on the inside, I'm going to add some Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock, cut it 4 by 5¼ inches. Now this isn't necessary because you could easily write on that craft cardstock, but I like the look of it, so that's why I do it. So I'm going to add that with some ATG tape. There we go. And I have a strip of paper from that Doodlebug pad. Lots of luck, I believe. And it's just a little leftover strip, like maybe 1/2 inch. And I will add that to the inside of my card with some ATG tape. And I'm going to try and keep things level and line it up. There we go. Now I'll add my little sentiment on the inside. So it says Leprechaun Kisses, which is fun. There we are. And now I have these Pink Fresh metallic pearls that I think kind of go with the idea of like little coins. Do you know what I mean? You could have easily cut out little coins using the Gnome Dies St. Patrick's Day add-ons. You could have done that, but I decided to use these. I'm using some multi-medium matte to add these to my card. I find, you know, you can't beat this for gluing on embellishments. Like, they're not going to go anywhere. There we go. I sent a card to a friend and she had mentioned that one of the little rhinestones fell off, which I was glad she told me because, you know, she's a crafter too and she knows that would drive me crazy. So I thought, note to self, I got to use my multimedia matte more when putting on my embellishments because then I know they're not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to add those to my card with my Studio Catty embellishment wand, using my little triangle tray from Simon Says Stamp. It helps flip them over the right way. Really does work. And I'm just going to add a few more because, you know, more is more, right? And the nice thing about multimedia matte is that if you put a little bit too much on and it gloops out, it's not going to be shiny. It dries matte, so you don't notice it. So that's pretty handy. The only thing I don't like about it is it's really thick and sometimes it's hard to squeeze the bottle. But other than that, like it is really the best for, you can't beat it for gluing on, you know, any kind of embellishment. Like, you just really can't beat it. So there we go. So there is my little card. I'm just making sure that, of course, I load up this card with as many embellishments as I can, right? Why not? So there we go. And there is a fast little St. Patrick's Day card. Now on the inside, I'm just going to add some of those embellishments and one to the outside. I've got this gold shamrock. I'm going to glue that to the inside. Kind of goes with the gold theme that I have on the outside, right? I'm just going to add that. I like to use these odds and ends on the inside of my cards. Sometimes like this, I'll add one to the outside. So I'm going to add the little sentiment Pinch Me. And those are both from the Doodlebug, is it Lots of Luck odds and ends? Let me look here. Yeah, lots of luck odds and ends. I'm just going to pop that up with some dimensionals. And I will add that to the front, which is kind of fun, right? And isn't that cute? I just think this little guy's adorable. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog, Be Inspired by the Team, the Jaded Blossom store to get your hands on these amazing products. And thank you as always for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Make sure you come back and watch another one soon. Bye, everybody.